Yo, what's up out there, YouTube?
Yo, what's up, YouTube?
SCL0320.
It's your boy Joe Johnson 030, aka Joe Johnson, aka like Wild Style. Follow me on Instagram.
What in the It's a random plug. I didn't even expect that. That was actually pretty good.
Mix it up.
That was actually pretty good. So you can definitely go down to the description bar below and check out Joe on his Instagram and our Twitters.
Link it?
Yeah, I'm gonna link it.
Oh, snap.
So you can connect with either one of us and chat it up and whatever.
Yes.
But representing JVS, we are here for the spoiler review for the wall crawler himself, Spider-Man, for Spider-Man Homecoming. You guys already know I gave the movie an 8.5 out of 10. I actually really enjoyed it. I actually thought that this was the best incarnation of Spider-Man as a character that connects to the comics, like how the comic book original Spider-Man should be, how he was. And I thought Tom Holland did a great job, and I thought that Michael Keaton stole the show. But what was it in your words for you? Like, what did you feel about Spider-Man Homecoming? And I guess what was the biggest strengths for you?
The biggest strengths for me, I would say definitely I love how they did. I like the movie overall. I love how they did the Vulture. I love how they did his character, man, because the Vulture was never like, you know, a serious contender. Well, he had a strong presence in, and you know, just Spider-Man like stories. Yeah. But he wasn't like, like a villain I would respect, like just because he was just like, it's the Vulture, like of course it's gonna lose. Vulture's garbage. Yeah. But nah, like Vulture's actually like, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like this Vulture he's legit. Yeah. Like he's like there's a couple scenes, bro, where dude was legit scary. Shit, he was scared. You know, between like the character design for him was really good. He had like this little flight helmet with kind of night vision green, kind of like these green LEDs in his helmet. And it was dope because really his costume was really kind of simple. Because he had this leather jacket, this aviator jacket with like fur around the collar. Yeah, which I thought was a nice
touch. You actually flying and gliding, you would expect somebody to wear something like that.
Yeah, and it wasn't like the feathers, you know what I'm saying? It was like, nah, bro, I got fur and a flight helmet and these metal wings. Like it was dope. It was dope. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, okay, this is but overall the movie was great. I just love how they did Vulture.
Yeah, what would you give the movie as a rating though?
I would give it an 8.5.
So you give it the same thing?
8.5, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so we're going to break down a couple different things. Like, I'm going to let Joe pick out some stuff that kind of spoiler filled, and then I'll kind of riff on some stuff with him. But if you have not seen the movie, take this, put it in your watch later, come back to it, because we about to go deep into some spoilers on Spider-Man Homecoming. So, well, I warned everybody, here we go. Alright, so Joe, like, can you think of a moment that kind of literally, like, surprised you didn't expect? I kind of figure, like, it's two moments for you specifically, but you want to talk about
definitely Homecoming night, man, when he's, that, I can see why they named it Homecoming, because it's just like, bro, he finds out, you know, that, the girl that he likes is, her dad is like Vulture. I was like, yeah. And like I never saw it coming. Yeah. Because you know Vulture. He's talking about I do this for my family. I do this for my family. He's playing all these heists, you know, and you know you're thinking, okay, like this guy is probably like, you know, I don't know. He's probably got, you know, like a shack somewhere with his family. You know, they're probably just making ends meet. Nah, this guy's balling out. Yeah. And you know, Peter, he makes his presence at the party that was at the house before. You don't see any photos or nothing because Peter had to leave. Yeah. And everything just ties in, just makes so much sense. And you're like, wow, like that's your daughter, fam? Yeah. And it's like, yo, I never saw it coming. That was probably the biggest plot twist that I've witnessed in this film. Like, and it was good because it was like I never expected this.
Yeah, like it's interesting watching it like a second time because the first time it caught me completely off guard. I was just kind of like, what the heck? Watching it the second time, I was sitting there watching everybody else's reaction. The whole theater was just quiet. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh.
Yeah.
And it just gets progressively worse because the way that they scripted it, you know what I'm saying, like, Liz was just kind of like, well, you weren't here then, you weren't there then, Spider-Man was here, and it was just like, she was connecting the dots right while they were in the car, and you felt like this real weight and tension, like, okay, he gets it. And then he is kind of like trying to keep it under wraps. And at a certain point, like, oh boy, he was like, you know, daughter, go ahead and go inside. I gotta give him the man-to-man talk. And this man pulled out a gun and it's just like, look, XYZ, XYZ. I was like, this was like, oh, I love this. I love that secret. I love the way that Michael Keaton, like he said, I mean, I've loved Michael Keaton since 1989 Batman. That is my official Batman. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's got that presence. That's the reason why he's the most convincing Batman, just the way he looks. Anytime that Michael Keaton was outside of his costume, he was just equally scary. Like, when he was outside of his mask and, like, he was just sitting there walking around in a room, like, I was like, this dude's crazy. He was like, look, I'm giving you an out. I'm saving your life. But if you do this, I'll kill you and everybody else, you know. And he wasn't joking. But I think the thing about it, though, Joe, and I wanted to actually talk about this, is the fact that up until a point, up until Peter crossed that line, I don't think he was trying to kill Peter. Because he had a lot of different moments to kill Peter. Like, even like on the boat sequence when Peter was kind of like battling with him and like Peter got the gun and it exploded. I don't think that he was intentionally trying to blow up the boat and kill everybody. Yeah. He was just doing things to ends meet kind of thing. He was trying to provide for his family. Even their first interaction, he did drop him. But, you know what I'm saying, like, he could have went and pursued him and did more. He was just trying to get away. It was after that point that he was like, okay, you're going to do this. But I guess the other thing was, what do you think about Shocker, though? Because that's another villain that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And they had one Shocker. His tail got vaporized.
He died. He died.
I forget what he did. He was doing something stupid when Spider-Man tried to get him the first time, right?
Yeah.
And he came back. He was like, yo, what about if I tell your daughter and your wife? I was like, oh, this dude's dumb.
Yeah, he's stupid, bro.
All of a sudden, he was like, this is gonna work. He was like, oh, I thought that was an anti-gravity gun or something like that. He was like, oh, whatever. But I think it was at that moment I was like, this man is dangerous. He's going to do whatever it takes to take care of his family. And that's what I guess for me cemented him as being, to me, one of the best Marvel villains they've come up with personally.
Yeah.
But anyway, what about Shocker though? What did you think about that kind of the reveal?
I mean, I think they have a lot they can do with his character.
Yeah.
I hope they go this route as far as, like, you know, he's still being kind of developed. And, because, I mean, because there's actually, you have to mention a couple villains actually in the movie that haven't had a stage presence as a villain yet. But I think they, because they only had one of the gauntlets. Like one of the shock gauntlets. So
yeah.
We all know Shocker has two.
Exactly. And he doesn't have a suit yet.
Yeah, he does have a suit.
But I think one thing that does his character well is he's really level-headed. Like, there were moments he was like, all right, I'm not going to do this. I'm a dip. Like, when they were on the boat, he wasn't sitting there just watching. He was, like, running. Yeah. He caught up with Vulture, and then he told Vulture, like, look, we need to get out of town. You know, he would have probably left, but he trusted the Vulture. You know what I'm saying? He was a really smart villain. I think that's one of the things about this movie, like, none of the villains felt dumb. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, these are people that are trying to make it. And they got, you know, in an instance, like, Tony Stark kind of screwed them. So it was like, these people know what it means to do what they have to do to survive. But, I don't know, I appreciate that. The character he's talking about, this is a huge spoiler, is Matt Gargan. Matt Gargan, if you don't know, he eventually becomes a Scorpion. Later on, he becomes the second or third Venom. But his character he's a really bad guy. The biggest end credit sequence is the first one where he basically met up with the Vulture, and he was like, I heard a rumor that you know who he is. You know, I got some boys on the outside, probably Doc Ock, probably like other villains, you know, to take him out, and the Vulture covered for him. But to me, like, he's probably gonna be the next villain. If not somebody like Morbius or somebody else that they've never used before. But did you know that same dude, he in Fallout 3, he was the main villain of Fallout 3. You remember the dude with the crew cut haircut and like crazy? Not Fallout, but Far Cry. My bad. Far Cry 3.
I was like,
He's the main villain of Far Cry 3.
I think that's something character.
But my bad.
Oh, you good.
This movie is just spoiler heavy though. Like it's spoiler heavy and it's Easter egg heavy. There's stuff that I didn't even really expect. Iron Man. What'd you think about Iron Man in this movie?
What I thought about him? I don't know. I mean,
He wasn't in the movie a lot, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion. I would say I like how much they used him and how much they didn't.
Yeah.
But I think I like how him and Spider-Man interacted.
Yeah.
He definitely has his mentor type feel, but he's at the same time, you know, he's also, you know, about the Avengers, you know, so you definitely get the sense of that. And you know, their relationship is weird because towards the end, like, you know, Peter's like, yo, is this a test? With the whole, would you accept like the new suit?
Oh, the Iron Spider suit.
The Iron Spider suit, right? So it's like, is this a test? If you're testing me because you turned it down.
Yeah.
And Stark was like, yeah, of course it was a test, you know. I think their whole relationship is very organic.
Yeah.
I think it's organic, and I like it that way. Because Spider-Man is really coming into his own as a hero.
Yeah.
You definitely get this, even though he's getting guidance from Tony Stark, he still feels like his own hero, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that was kind of a hard thing for script writers and directors and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that definitely mimics Samuel L. Jackson and Robert Downey Jr.'s character in Iron Man 1 and 2. Like, that's who Samuel L. Jackson was for Iron Man. Like, Nick Fury was that for Iron Man and trying to point him in the right direction because he was basically like, you're not on my team. Like, I don't accept you on the Avengers initiative. And now, you know, Tony is basically kind of the leader doing that for him. So it's kind of like a passing on the mantle kind of thing. And I think they did that really well. One of the things I think I did not like was Age of Ultron and Iron Man 3 because it didn't make sense to transition. Like, when I thought about Iron Man 3, and he quit, and like, you know, Pepper Potts and him, whatever. And then you get to Age of Ultron, Pepper's not in the movie. They've broken up. There's no explanation why. He's still Iron Man. There's no explanation why. And I just hated that. In this one, at the very end, they actually bring Pepper back. And like, Happy makes this reference like, okay, here's an alternative. You know, you still got that ring. I was like, I still got that ring since 2008. That was when the first movie came there. And he tossed it to him. And I was like, that's a great reference. For me, I actually appreciated what they did with Iron Man here because they continued the continuity of stuff that didn't make sense from Iron Man 3 and Age of Ultron for me. So I actually really appreciated what they did with this one. Another character that I was going to talk about, I don't know if Joe knows enough about it, but we'll try to dissect it, is Donald Glover. Donald Glover, I mean, the dude is going to be in Han Solo. I mean, he's done it all. He's a great artist. He's a great actor. He's a great comedian. But he was in this movie. In the small moments he was in it, I actually really enjoyed his character. I thought he was very funny, very natural, the way he interacted with Spider-Man. But a lot of people don't know who Aaron Davis is. Aaron Davis is the Prowler. And his character, he's all about the stealing. Watching this a second time, I realized he didn't really want the guns. He didn't really care about the guns. And even watching the way he interacted with Peter, it was like, he was like, man, I want those guns off the street because I got a little nephew. I don't want anything happening to him. He just wanted to be able to find a way of stealing stuff, you know. But what people don't know is that Aaron Davis's little nephew is Miles Morales. So Miles Morales is the second Spider-Man. And I don't know what they're going to do with, you know, this moving forward, but Miles Morales would have to be like, 9 or 8 at this point if Peter is like 15 or maybe even younger than that. So either way, it's good that he's actually going to be in this universe. I'm actually hyped about that. But what did you think about the fact of them including Miles Morales in this MCU world now?
Oh man, I was expecting them to somehow. low key. But I'm glad they did.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did. You know.
Yeah. And I guess the last two things that I guess we can kind of talk about for me that I appreciated was they didn't kill the villain. They didn't kill the Vulture. And, you know, Zendaya's Michelle, her nickname is MJ. Those two things I was curious, what was your thoughts on those two things?
Man, to be honest with you, like I thought that was dope. Because like, you know, Lily was like, you know, I was like, of course you're not. Of course I don't really know who you are. But you and Peter have this romance, so that's cool.
Yeah.
But they actually had like a really good chemistry, really good like on-screen chemistry, nice like kind of romance story. But to be honest with you, like MJ, we know her now as MJ. I mean, for me, like she stole. Yeah, like with MJ Michelle, she stole the show, bro.
Yeah.
Every scene she was in, like I was.
She
like,
had these random one-liners.
She is such a good character, yo.
Yeah.
And she's so weird, and it was, and like I could kind of tell, like she had maybe a little thing for Peter.
Yeah.
But I was like, maybe not.
It's that Helga Pataki kind of life syndrome.
Yeah, exactly. But in the movie, like you definitely see it. You definitely see it at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
The way she kind of looked at Peter while he was leaving to go take that phone call.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely she definitely has a thing for Peter.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is so cool. I love how they did
that. Was like a smooth criminal kind of like add in. Now, I think some people are gonna be upset because they're like, this is not the traditional version of Michelle. And I think that Michelle's real name in this is Michelle Jones, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong. So any of y'all comic book geeks out there, please don't crucify me for that. But the reality is Mary Jane Watson is someone that's concrete to the Spider-Man mythos. What they're choosing to do is take the character and fleshing her out in a totally different way, because Michelle is very smart, but she's very snappy, she's very witty, and I actually appreciate her character more than Kirsten Dunst's Mary Jane Watson, because this is going to form a natural progression. They're going to work towards something versus like, oh, this is the person he first falls in love with. If you know the comic books, for real, he actually fell in love with Liz and Gwen Stacy before he fell in love with Mary Jane Watson. So they could add in a Gwen Stacy. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're just going to flesh out this new way of adding a Mary Jane in Michelle. And they're just going to call her MJ from now on. But I think that it's going to be a really natural progression. But the thing is, Zendaya is a singer, and she's a model and an actress. And that's who Mary Jane Watson is. So I was like, that's the perfect kind of person to kind of play this character for the role. So I'm all for it. The biggest thing for me, though, what about the Vulture? The fact, well, one, what do you take as far as him as being a villain in the MCU? What do you rank him at? And the fact that they didn't kill him. Like, they pulled a Loki with him, essentially.
Oh, bro, oh, man, I love him as a villain. I love this character, yo. Like, that's strange to say, because any other time I hate the Vulture. Like Vulture, get out of here. Like, bro, talking about Vulture.
Yeah.
Get out of here. But he was cool. He was really cool.
Yeah.
Like, when they had the dude fly underneath the plane, had his wings kind of form this little cocoon, and he was just sitting in the hatch, and he put that little, kind of that grid on the bottom of the belly of the plane, he could go through it.
Yeah.
I was like, this dude is cool.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that was dope. And he was just sitting there with his like little his flight helmet on, bro. Dude is bad, man. It's bad. Like,
yeah,
it's dope.
Yeah, I mean, his whole crew was dope though, because he had this guy. His character is actually the Tinkerer, who created all these different things, but they all knew their stuff. Like, they knew how to manipulate stuff. They knew how to work together. It was just some people like were just kind of out of it, like that first Shocker guy. But like you said, like there was this one moment where he was on the side of a building and like his wings were just kind of like sticking down. You couldn't see him, And like I was like, dude, that dude looks scary. Like if I was Spider-Man, I'd be legit like kind of afraid to kind of go up against him. But it's gonna be interesting to see what they do in the next one. One thing that I'm gonna bring up later on in another video is Ned Leeds. Ned, I like this character. I thought he was funny. I thought he was the OG. I thought that he had Peter's back at every moment. The guy in the chair. But one thing that Ned Leeds in the comics, he becomes the Hobgoblin. So I don't see them doing that. And his character to me is modeled after another character called Genki. Genki is Miles Morales' best friend. So what they did is they took Miles' character's best friend and gave it to Peter Parker. And I don't really necessarily like that, but I appreciate Ned as a character. I know they're going to be shooting like in September for the sequel. But I don't know. What did you think about Ned? I actually really enjoyed this character. For me, I know the background behind Ned. And I don't know how he's going to progress to being Hobgoblin, just like I don't see how Flash Thompson is going to be, this other character later on either. So, I don't know. What do you think about, I guess, Ned and Flash Thompson? What do you think about their characters?
I mean, Flash, I think Flash was, I don't know.
He wasn't a traditional bully, but he's a realistic bully nowadays. You know what I mean? You don't think like bullies like that?
Nah. I mean, bro. They on the same the same club, man. I don't see it. He doesn't come off to me as a bully. He just kind of come off as a jerk, maybe, but not a bully.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like most high schools now, people just being jerks. Like it's less. Well, I take it back. Depending on where you at. Like less inclined to actually throw a fist, but like giving you like a fit kind of thing. I don't know.
I mean, they seem pretty cool. They seem like they got along kind of. Like, I don't know. Is that just me?
I don't know. I feel like Flash hated his guts.
It seemed like they could have.
Maybe there was a jealousy
friends,
thing.
But he's a jerk. He's like that jerk friend. And he just seemed that to me. He didn't really seem like a bully.
I mean, I never, like, every time that Peter was kind of, like, interacting with him, like, Peter was kind of, like, on eggshells with him. Like, it wasn't like, all right, they're going to have an open conversation. Like, every time Peter's name would be brought up, Flash was giving him a fit. So I never saw them really interact. I guess they'll take maybe
really,
later.
Yeah, they really don't, but I don't know. I think they have to do some more with that, but...
They got to progress his character a little bit more.
Yeah, but...
It's just not like the same Flash Thompson.
Nah, it's not.
It's just
This is fine, given
like how they're changing all the characters.
the story.
Yeah.
Mine.
But what about Ned though?
He's alright character. Definitely comic relief.
Yeah. And I guess that's everything. Like I think we went over legit everything, minus Aunt May, who's like super young. But I think I like the way that they didn't like beat our heads over with Uncle Ben's death and the fact that they did something with Aunt May. Like she actually had like an involvement, you know what I'm saying? Like she helped him out with getting prepared for prom. She gave him really good advice. She was really awkward. And I think that they can organically flush her character out. But one thing we didn't talk about is Tom Holland. Like, there was a scene that for me is the best scene in the film. When Peter literally had the whole building falling on him by the Vulture. And he was literally crying out because he was afraid he was going to die. He didn't know what was going to happen to himself. And like he was like, help. And he realized nobody's coming. And he had to understand like he's going to have to be the hero to save himself. And find that inner strength. But I guess that scene to me was one of the most things that like influenced me to want to see this movie again. Because it made me realize I can accept him as being my Spider-Man, my new Spider-Man. But did you have like a really key moment besides that one, or did you want to talk about that moment?
Nah, I would say that moment was definitely key.
Yeah, but
it was a great moment. I think it was dope because like for a moment, I thought the dude was like really claustrophobic. Like I thought he was like legit claustrophobic. Like not even playing.
Yeah.
Like I thought he was
having a panic attack.
Yeah.
Like he acted that very well.
Yeah. Like I thought this dude was like seriously having a panic attack.
Yeah.
But
But I guess we've been ranting long enough. Spider-Man was a very good film. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it the second time around with this dude. And definitely go and check it out. Oh, and to pick off on what Joe just said about like that, there was a moment where he was on the monument in DC and he was freaking out there. There was a moment he was running through the yard and he couldn't swing himself. Like he's very much so in training. And I think that is what Spider-Man embodiment is all about. And so definitely go and check out Spider-Man. Hope y'all enjoyed our spoiler-filled review. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. We're gonna have a spoiler discussion this Saturday night. Peace, everybody.